Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to this Diablo 3 videocast for don'tcryptme.com. I am Paradise, and today I am joined by...
George?
And Brandon, this is me, the Barbarian.
Hi, and
The only guy in our party.
the only male in the party, and we're going to be doing a quick max level run through of Diablo 3 and just talking about some of the more exciting things that we can look forward to come release day. For the purposes of this little video, we have got high level characters decked out in all of the best level 12 and 13 gear we can find, and we're just going to destroy everything. Okay, to start us off, how much time have you guys spent playing the beta? George, let's start with you.
So I got the beta probably about a month and a half ago. I think I leveled up three characters. Did a monk recently. A barbarian, of course, was my first one, and the wizard.
Cool. How about you, Brandon?
I would say I've been playing for a month or two now, couple months. Started out with Barbarian. The only other thing I've done is a Witch Doctor to about level 5, and then actually tried a Demon Hunter the other night, but mainly all of my tunes have been Barbarians.
Have you guys played the previous Diablo games? And if so, what was your favorite class? George?
I remember the last time I played, I was like back in early 2000s, and I remember my favorite class in Diablo 2 was the Paladin. But obviously, the closest thing to that now is the monk. So I rolled a monk to around level 11, I believe, and I just wasn't feeling it as much.
How about you, Brandon?
I have not played a whole lot of Diablo. This is really the most Diablo I've ever played. I want to say I played a little bit of the first Diablo a long time ago at a friend's house, but that was about it. But Diablo 3 is the first time that I'm really delving pretty deep into Diablo.
Cool. I played Diablo 2 pretty extensively when I was little, and I didn't really know what I was doing, so I don't think I ever cleared it past normal. I assumed that when I beat normal that I had actually completed the game, and probably never went back to it. Little knowing that, you know, all of these new harder monsters and items and stuff become available, so shame on me, but going to definitely be trying harder with Diablo 3 to see all of the difficulties and kill all the bosses.
Yeah, I think it was the kind of same thing for me too. Like I was really too young to really like appreciate the game and kind of stick with it and play it all the way through. So I'm really looking forward to this installment.
Yeah, I think at that point I was playing. When did the first and second ones come out? I was probably playing
1999.
like. Okay, yeah, I was probably playing Counter Strike and lots of first-person shooters.
Okay, so the classes that you guys are playing now, the Barbarian and the Wizard, are they going to be your full game classes, do you think?
For me, yeah.
Yeah, definitely for me, the wizard. From the class, I haven't played the witch doctor yet. Originally, I was going to start with the demon hunter, but I'm really enjoying the gameplay on the wizard. So that's probably going to be my main.
Fair enough. I'm either going to be playing the Monk or the Wizard first. In theory, I should like the Monk a whole lot more, but the Wizard and the ability to just clear everything so fast is pretty fun. So I'm not 100% certain. It'll be one of those two. It'll be one of those two.
Do you think that I mean, much like mages in Warcraft are pretty OP since they started, do you think they're going to kind of do any class balancing when it gets released?
I don't think so, to be honest. The last major change that we saw to class balance was with the Demon Hunter. In the early beta patches, the Demon Hunter was extremely weak and had to use auto attack quite a lot. But now that they have been given hatred generating abilities, The only other changes we've seen are, tweaks to the cost of abilities and the damage, but nothing major. And I don't think they're going to do anything major. If a barbarian is slightly better than another class at killing stuff, I don't think they're really going to care.
How do you think the way the classes are chosen, like let's say you're playing with 4 people and you plan on sticking with those 4 people, do you think that from 1 to 60, what they choose from the beginning is going to really kind of affect how well they get through all the levels?
I don't think it'll be too much of a problem. If you're totally inexperienced with the game, then the way that the user interface guides you in choosing skills means that you can't really go wrong. If you stick it on elective mode and manage to pick all the wrong mix of abilities, then you'll be screwed. But for a normal player or even a new player, I think it'll be fine. What do you think, Brandon? You never really
Gotcha.
played Diablo, the earlier Diablo. Have you had any trouble with figuring out what you need to do?
No, not at all. It's pretty. I played a lot of not like top-down RPGs and stuff like Diablo, but I have played a lot of RPGs, so it's kind of the way that it's set up is pretty intuitive if you've played, RPGs before, dungeon crawl.
Alright, let's move on to some of these interesting topics, because we're already powering our way through the beta, as we expected that we would. The Real Money Auction House, are you guys going to use it to buy anything?
That's a good question. I think if I'm at a point, if I'm like, a higher level, I'm having difficulty, and I think if I've just been unlucky with loot drops, which typically I'm pretty unlucky with loot drops in a lot of games, I would maybe consider, if there's a piece of gear in the auction house that I could really, really use, I would consider using it, yeah.
What about to sell stuff?
Obviously, if there's something that I don't need, I'll definitely be putting it up on the auction house.
How about you, Brandon?
I haven't really thought a whole lot about it. I'm sure I will find a need for it, but I think right now my main concern is just gameplay. If I come across good loot and I don't really necessarily need it and I can sell it, I'll definitely use the auction house, but it's not my main priority.
Fair enough. I am probably in a similar situation to George, so if there is an item that I think is going to be a significant upgrade and I can't get that item any other way, I'll probably consider purchasing it.
Like, if I have a demon hunter for like an alt that I'm really working on as well, and it's a pretty nice drop, I'll probably give it to my alt instead of just putting it on the auction house. I don't plan on retiring from my job from the Real Money Auction House, so yeah.
I think if anyone is planning on retiring, they're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Alright, next question is about hardcore characters. Have any of you tried hardcore in the beta, and do you intend to play hardcore at all in retail? Do you know what hardcore is? Let's start with you, Brandon.
I've seen that setting. I have not messed with it at all. I don't really know a whole lot about it. So, I mean, I think I'm definitely up for a challenge because if it is a bit harder, then I'd be up for it because at this point, a lot, to me, even the first time through, beating the Skeleton King was a little bit trivial, whether it was on 1-player or 2-player co-op, 3-player. I could definitely use more of a challenge.
Do you know what the setting does? Has it warned you? Did you click on it?
Yeah.
If you die, then you're done, right?
Yeah, that's right. So your character and all of the equipment and gold they were carrying is gone forever.
Have you guys died at all yet, though?
I have died a couple of times, deliberately doing dumb things. I don't think I've died in the course of normal play.
Well, as far as the dying thing goes, I died with a demon hunter before the last patch, it just seemed a lot weaker to me on survivability. I don't know. I mean, I was like maybe level 5 before it reset, but it didn't feel like the earlier builds.
Fair enough. I'm probably not going to play a hardcore character because I think it would frustrate me too much if I lost everything on it. It would, yeah. It's nice to have the option, but I don't think I'm going to go for it.
Is there any type of perk that comes along with playing hardcore?
There are a couple of differences. So the number one thing is that there's no access to the real money auction house at all. So yeah, real money is not a part of the hardcore game. And a while before release, a lot of people were talking about that as being a big reason that they would actually try hardcore. They didn't want the real money auction house to be in their game. The only other real difference is you just get a little cosmetic thing on your banner, and that's it.
Wow, so there's no scaling for gear. Like, if you're running Inferno, you get better gear. You don't get any better gear for hardcore?
Nope, not at all. And you can't share gear between your normal and your hardcore characters either. Your stashes are completely separate.
So other than bragging rights, if you do complete the game on hardcore, that's really about it.
Exactly, yep.
I have a question. If you play Inferno, does it default to hardcore mode? Or if you play Inferno, if you die, then you can come back? Or if you play Inferno, if you die, it's gone forever?
If you die and you're playing hardcore, yeah, you die forever, regardless of what difficulty you're in. So Inferno is a difficulty setting, which is unlocked at level 60, but hardcore is like a game type. They're not directly related at all.
They're not tied at all. Okay, that makes sense. Because I would think Inferno, for it to be so hard, if you die, then your game is over.
Yeah. So there is going to be some bragging rights out there for the first person that beats Inferno Diablo on hardcore for sure.
So speaking of bragging rights, I know in Warcraft when the expansions landed, everyone was kind of racing towards like world first, server first. Are they going to be broadcasting those types of achievements through everyone's screen whenever someone hits like level 60 or Inferno?
From my understanding, you get notifications when your friends get achievements and anyone on your party, but nothing global, no world first stuff. The game isn't divided into servers like World of Warcraft, it's just regions. So everyone in the Americas is all in one region, and no server firsts, no level, first to 60 or first kill of Diablo or anything like that we know about.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
It is a little bit sad.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see who really doesn't sleep and actually spends their entire time since launch to actually get those achievements.
For sure. That actually brings us to our next topic, which is, what are your plans for release day and immediately following release day? You're taking time off work? Are you shipping the wife to another country? George, let's start with you.
For me, I'm trying to get some days off work. I'm trying to get some days off work. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I plan on playing on release day, and girlfriend works anyways during the week, and she kind of lets me do whatever I want as far as gaming stuff goes. So it shouldn't be a problem to play most of my week on release week.
Nice. How about you, Brandon?
At first, I was gonna take that Monday off before it's released and go to a midnight release, but apparently nobody around here is doing a midnight release, so I'm just gonna pre-order the collector's edition, pick it up after I'm done with work on Tuesday, and then actually no, I did take Tuesday off, so I'll be off all day Tuesday, pick it up in the morning and play basically all week because I took till that Friday off, so it's going to be one long Diablo week for me. It's kind of my vacation.
Nice. Note with the midnight launch events, they may still being worked out. Blizzard did only just announce specifically how the launch was going to work globally a couple of days ago. So there's still time.
Yeah, I'm hoping, just because I saw the US events and they only had one listed, and that was like in Irvine, California. So I heard that there was approximately on normal gameplay, it's about 60, 65 hours to complete it to 60.
I don't know if that's correct. I would be surprised if it was that high, to be honest.
Okay.
I would be anticipating maybe more like 20 hours on normal. But we'll see. We'll see. From what we know, the part of the beta that we're seeing is 1/3 of Act 1. And there are 4 acts in total. The beta's about 90 minutes. But we also know that the later acts are shorter than the earlier acts. That's been the case since Diablo 2, and Blizzard intend to repeat that. So, yeah, I think about 20 hours is probably realistic.
That's not too bad.
It's not too bad.
So from your perspective, if you're going for Inferno, you think just play it on normal difficulty, just hurry up, rush it, get to 60, and then run Inferno?
Yeah, so I don't think normal is going to present a challenge to anyone who's, played a lot of role-playing games before. My strategy is going to be basically just play it as far into the hardest difficulty as I can get before it starts to get really hard, and then turn into farming mode to try and get some better gear so I can proceed. So I don't know when that turning point is going to be. It might be Nightmare, it might be Hell. Hopefully it's not like you have to get to Inferno before that happens, but we'll see. Okay, so out of the 3 people in this group here, who do you think is going to beat Diablo on normal difficulty first? And I think it's going to be me, but how about you guys?
I'm gonna try to beat it the quickest on normal difficulty, but I don't like rushing through games,
You're out.
especially games like this. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think my first playthrough is gonna be. I'm gonna wait to do co-op. I think my first playthrough, I just want to experience it alone and just go through it once by myself.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that too, because if you're playing your first playthrough co-op with someone else and they're not online, you kind of feel bad, that you're going on without them. They're not going to be able to see that content. So
For me, it's kind of a. I don't know. Call me a traditionalist, but I've always been more of a single-player RPG fan. So it's kind of just experiencing that story first. Just yourself and no interruptions. I don't know. It's not so much like waiting for your co-op friends. It's just like getting deep into that story and just experiencing it for yourself. Makes it more personal, I think.
Yep, that's fair enough.
yeah, I agree.
I'm getting too poetic here.
So you're gonna play your first playthrough by yourself?
Yeah.
How about you, George?
Yeah, I think the first when I finish loading up the game and I'm ready to start my game, I'm probably definitely just gonna go in through myself and just start playing, see how far I can get.
I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to play by myself. Not so much because of any story thing, but just because, yeah, it wouldn't be fair to anyone else that I was trying to play co-op with. Because one or both of us would be held back by that, I think. After release, is Diablo 3 going to be your main game, or are you going to be still looking forward to something else that's on the horizon, whether it be Guild Wars 2 or something I haven't thought of?
For me, I'm still a hardcore Battlefield 3 guy. Like I love playing. There's an upcoming DLC map pack for Battlefield 3 coming out in June. So I mean that's going to be 4 or 5 weeks out from Diablo 3's release. Diablo 3 is going to be my primary game, more than likely. And then whenever I kind of need to step away from it, if I'm beating my head against the wall on one certain act in Diablo 3, I'll probably definitely play Battlefield 3 on the side.
Yeah, I think when it releases, Diablo 3 is gonna kind of be my bread and butter for a while. That's basically all I'm gonna play. I'm sure I'll play more stuff, But yeah, that's basically it for a while, because there's nothing really coming out around that time frame that's going to interest me. I know there is, I think on the same day that Diablo 3 comes out, there is a Game of Thrones RPG that looked kind of interesting. I know a lot of people aren't too thrilled about it because they think it'll suck, but you know, licensed games like that from series usually don't do too well, but I'm going to give it a try.
I am most definitely going to be playing Diablo 3. When I tend to get into a game, I get into it quite hardcore. I've been playing StarCraft 2 pretty extensively ever since it was released. And so it's either going to be a full transfer to Diablo 3, or else it'll be me playing a mix of StarCraft and Diablo. But at this stage, I think it will be mostly Diablo for the foreseeable future, to be honest. And the only thing that might change that might be Halo 4. Go ahead,
I
George.
haven't done this side event in a while. I've done like maybe 7 or 8 playthroughs on this character, and I haven't done this one yet.
I think that the other optional event, the Jar of Souls, is a little bit more fun. But they're all good.
There was one part of the cemetery that we just ported from. That one part of the gate that's locked that you can't ever get through, just because obviously they locked it because it's beta. There was a rare mob in there. I forgot the name of it, but I'm curious to see when the full game gets released, what part of the game that is.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. So there's a few theories about where the beta fits in. One pretty common one is that the Skeleton King in the full game is actually going to be a little bit later on than we're fighting him. He's been brought forward to create like a natural endpoint for the beta, but maybe in the full game he comes after, you know, those sections that we can see through the gates. It'll be interesting to find out for sure.
Yeah. Now this might be a really bad question to ask, but have any of you guys played Torchlight?
I have not. One of my friends post stuff up about it all the time, or he did before, and it looked really interesting. And I've been trying to get into it, but I keep forgetting, and I'm gonna make an effort to, you know, play that in the near future because it does look pretty cool.
I was just going to say, I have downloaded it on Steam when it was like $2 or $3 or something, but couldn't play it more than 10 minutes. It felt older than Diablo 2. It's a really weird feeling for me. I couldn't get into it.
Is it maybe sort of a kind of like the Grimrock thing though, where they tried to make it old school, like an old dungeon crawler, sort of like a nostalgia thing?
Maybe, but if so, they might have done too good a job, because it just I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of depth behind it, like I would want in Diablo. I could be wrong.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to mention was it would be nice to see in the full release of Diablo 3 a variable zoom, just because the standard zoom in for me is too much, and I like to kind of get in on the action a little bit more, but not go too far in where I'm not situationally aware of what's going on around me.
Right.
I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, and like with Torchlight, you can use your scroll wheel to kind of precisely move in and out the amount that you want to.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair enough. I don't think we're going to see that, to be honest. One of the things that Jay Wilson said at the Game Developers Conference when he was talking about the art was that having a really fixed perspective enabled them to take a whole lot of shortcuts to make the game run a whole lot better on, you know, low-end systems without it looking terrible. So maybe that says we're not going to get something like that, but I hope we do. It would be nice to have a little bit more control over the camera.
Yeah.
Speaking of Diablo-like games, have any of you or either of you played Titan Quest?
I have not.
No, I haven't.
Nope. Okay. I won't spend too much time on that then, other than to say it felt reasonably good as a slightly modernized version of Diablo 2.
Is it on Steam?
Yes, I think it is. Yep.
Cool. I'll check it out. So what's your prediction on how long expansion? I know it's kind of way too early to even talk about expansion, but how long do you think it's going to be until Blizzard actually starts hinting towards a Diablo 3 expansion?
I think it'll be 18 months.
Okay.
I would hope maybe a little. Well, I don't know. With it being Blizzard, I would say they would do it a little bit sooner than that. But I mean, I would hope they would hold off just so that people can fully experience the game and then put something out a little further down the line. But me, I'm kind of indifferent. Whatever happens with DLC happens. Or expansion, sorry, not DLC. That's a dirty word.
What was the amount of time it took from Diablo 2 to Lord of Destruction getting released? I can't remember.
I'm not sure either. I don't think it was all that long, to be honest. But I can't remember the details. Personally, I think that they will hurry it out. We've seen from Blizzard before that they are trying to get into the habit of releasing expansion packs more frequently, and so I think that's gonna continue with Diablo 3. When the game goes live, PvP is not going to be in it, and we don't know how far away it is, except it's going to be patched in. And the only quote we've got from the developers is that they hope to have it in by Christmas. What do you guys think about that?
Are you? I don't know. Are you guys looking forward to the PvP? Because personally, for me right now, my only concern is getting through the story, the PvE. If PvP comes, I'll definitely try it out. But being pushed back or whatever, isn't really a big concern for me.
Yeah, for me, I mean, with most games, PvP hasn't really been a huge part of my gaming experience with games like this. I haven't really read too much into the PvP aspect of what they're offering players in Diablo 3, so I'm not really hyped up on it myself. It's definitely not going to be like a Warcraft type of PvP, because you're going to have a lot of the similar characters. I mean, can you describe to me how they plan on getting 4-on-4 or 3-on-3 to actually PvP in this game?
Sure. So the last demo of PvP that we saw, it was an arena system with a matchmaking component, probably not a whole lot dissimilar to the way WoW works. So basically, you go in by yourself or with a group. It has a hidden rating in the background that it uses to match you up with people that are of equivalent skill or gear or whatever. And it's basically either first to 50 kills or the most kills in a specific amount of time. And it's in a fixed little arena area with no NPCs or monsters or anything else.
See, to me, that doesn't sound appealing at all. Personally.
It seems like, for me, that would be something that would get kind of old after about an hour of two of grinding, whether it's arena points or something. There's not a lot of variety. I mean, I'm sure they're probably going to offer something pretty nice, but yeah.
In terms of rewards, the only ones that we know about are special things to put on your banner. I'm not sure if there are any item awards. No doubt there will be achievements, but yeah, that's all we know. Personally, I'm a little bit sad. I'm a very competitive player, which is why I play so much StarCraft. And a big part of the whole questing and getting the best gear for me would be to prove that it's the best by then, challenging other players. So I'm a little bit sad, but I'll live. The single player experience is going to be really fun anyway.
Yeah. So I've got a question. So let's say one of my friends picks up the game, a couple weeks out, and I'm like level 30, and he wants to kind of, he has his own character, but he wants to join me with his level 15. Is it going to be kind of one of those things where he's going to get one-shotted by almost everything that touches him, or is it going to kind of scale it a little bit for him?
There's no plan to scale them to start with. It's something that the devs have told us they are interested in the future, but right now the only real options are for you to jump back and play with him and just one-shot everything, or for him to try and tough it out in the area where you are. If he does try and tough it out, then he'll go up levels really fast and will be able to catch up to you, but still it's not ideal.
Okay.
Do you think how big of a jump do you think it'll be from, say, normal to what's the next level up in
Nightmare.
hardness? How hard do you think Nightmare will actually be? I mean, do you think it'll be something that a lot of people end up doing, or just something that people stay away from in general?
I think and I hope that it'll be a real jump. It would be sad if it was just like hardly any more difficult than normal, but just the same story that you've already just experienced. That would be a huge disappointment. I'm hoping that it gets a lot harder. As a spike. I hope there's a spike in difficulty that makes you understand and accept that you're no longer in normal mode.
See, I would hope so. I would hope that they would, rather than just boost the HP of, all the mobs, they would actually, put in some more difficult mechanics into the game that actually make you think your game through, as opposed to just, the mobs having more health.
Yep. They are going to do some stuff, like, for example, when you get randomly spawned elite mobs, they can have various different abilities, and they have said to us that some monster abilities don't even appear before Nightmare, so you'll never see a monster on normal difficulty that... I don't know what some of these affixes are, but yeah, they're saying that monsters will gain new abilities on the higher difficulties. It won't be just a health boost.
Well, that's good to hear. That kind of, like WoW, for example. I know with Wrath, like heroics were basically just the same 5-man, but the mobs had bigger, they had more health, and that was about it. With Cataclysm heroics, they sort of introduced brand new mechanics that made you have to actually play the game better and think about what you were doing, as opposed to just running through and spamming certain buttons more.
Yeah, I definitely think that Diablo is going to go more of the it's going to change your strategy type arrangement. Like, as an example, there are resistances to different types of attacks, and you won't need them on normal. And so resistance gear doesn't even drop in normal, but in later difficulties you might have to think very carefully about whether you have resist lightning before you go and attack a pack of lightning bats or something like that. I think it is going to change the game. I hope it does.
I played a lot of Ulduar and Wrath, and it was one of the few raids where when you actually did the harder modes in the actual instance or the raid itself, the mechanics themselves change from the normal modes. I would like to see that in Diablo 3, definitely.
I think it will.
But that was one of the few raids that actually did that.
I didn't know it did that. I didn't raid a whole lot in WoW. I just mainly did 5-mans and stuff. I wasn't a huge raider.
The way that the difficulty settings work in Diablo, it's almost a little bit different from like a harder difficulty in a normal game or like a heroic mode in WoW. The later difficulties are designed to be a part of the game. So for example, when you finish normal, you're probably only going to be level 25 or 30 or whatever. And the max level goes to 60, and you're expected to keep leveling through these other difficulties. It makes me think that they've thought the whole experience through. Right, just as we're heading into the boss fight, George, did you want to talk about your giveaway?
Perhaps I am simply suffering.
Yeah, so as most of you guys that are probably listening to this already know, I'm doing a Reddit giveaway to where all the new likes that came in after I posted that, they're eligible to win the free Steam game or Diablo 3 or Battlefield 3. So you kind of get to pick which one you want if your name gets chosen. And yeah, so I'm going to record a video and actually show it real time how I'm choosing, kind of go through the list, and yeah, you'll find out next Sunday.
Cool. Right, coming into the final battle. Hope everybody's ready. One interesting thing that you can see if you glitch out the beta is that the Skeleton King's chair disappears if you lag out, and you can see this little corridor underneath it. So I wonder if that's where we head after we kill him. And
Oh, I didn't get any fancy. You beat the Diablo beta.
that'll come up in a second. I don't think I got any gear though.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I've played through maybe 5 times on this character, and I've only gotten 2 yellows, so I guess it's a pretty rare drop.
Unless I was too fast for my own brain and I clicked the blues automatically, I don't think I even got any blue drops from that. If I did, I'm going to edit this part out.
I actually got a pretty sweet one, but yeah, I DE'd the orbs that I got before.
You salvaged them. You salvaged them from your character. You did not DE them from your tune.
My fault. Yeah, salvage.
Alright guys, so we are
Old-
going to
old
leave it
habits die
there.
hard.
Thank you very much for listening. This has been a don'tcryptme.com podcast. Please visit us at don'tcryptme.com or like us on Facebook. That's all I have to say. George, Brandon, do you have any closing words?
I do not.
Nope. Thanks, guys, for listening. Really appreciate the support.
Cool. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you next time.